Welcome back to another video on DC Future State, and today we're checking out The Flash #1. This is set in 2027, so roughly like 6 years in the future. We're gonna see what's going on with the Flash family, mostly with Wally West, and I'm gonna say something, this issue is very dark, alright? So expect that. But yeah guys, if you're ready, let's dive into this issue. We open at the Checkmate headquarters, somewhere in the Swiss Alps. The Thinker prepares his rooks, knights, and forces to fight off against the Flash family. The Flash family, including Barry, Max Mercury, Jay Garrick, and Avery Ho, go speeding in through the entrance. They throw stun tops to the Thinker's forces, knocking them down. Barry uses a cold gun from Captain Cold and freezes the Thinker's exit. Barry tells the Thinker to surrender, but the Thinker then tells Barry he has miscalculated. That's when the Flash family realize this isn't the Thinker, this isn't Clifford DeVoe, but the Calculator instead. He modified the thinking cap to catch the Flash family off guard. The Calculator states that the Speedsters, aka Flash family, are now using their enemies' weapons because they are losing their speed. He is curious as to why this has happened. What happened that made the Flash family lose their speed? That's when Impulse comes swinging in and uses Rainbow Raiders prism goggles to deflect off the ice from Captain Cold's gun in order to get the drop on the Calculator. Impulse is having a great time. Impulse knocks out the Calculator. Impulse runs toward the Flash family and says, after months of collecting gadgets to break into Checkmate, I can't believe I'm finally holding the tickets to saving Wally. Barry says it's time to go. The Flash family begin to head out, but that's when the Calculator attacks Impulse with a Rainbow Raider prism and injures him badly. Max Mercury tried to save Impulse, but he wasn't fast enough. Checkmate forces shoot, but Flash family barely make it out alive. The Flash family make it back to their hideouts. We fast forward to the Speed Lab weeks later. Bart Allen, aka Impulse, died after that run-in with the Calculator. Avery Ho has lost hope. She's lost too much. Jay Garrick is in fear now that he doesn't have his speed. Max Mercury lives with the guilt for not saving Bart. Barry has his own guilt over Bart, Wallace, and Wally West. He hides his guilt to keep hope in the Flash family. Barry wishes he could contain his emotions easily. Barry always saw himself as a father figure to Wally West, but Barry failed. Something in the Speed Force changed Wally into a hungry murderer. He killed his cousin Wallace West at Titans Academy. It's been 5 years since that incident. Barry has still not lost hope in Wally. He'll track him down and save him. Barry uses the thinking cap to finish phase 2 of his plan in saving Wally West. It's time to bring Wally back from the darkness. Barry walks outside in Central City. There's protesting against the magistrate forces. Barry gets a call from Iris. Iris tells him a speedster murderer has been located in North Africa. Barry knows it's Wally. Wally is coming for Barry next. Barry finally figures out what's wrong with Wally. That's when Barry tells Iris he's going to Avery's house to make a phone call. Iris's call cuts out. Barry believes if he can save Wally, he can save Central City. Barry rides off in a motorcycle through Central City streets. Yeah, crack-oom! Barry makes it to Avery's house. New reports come in that tensions are rising in Condog because of a speedster is killing civilians. Barry says there's still hope for Wally. Jay, Max, and Avery are mad and have gone through too much. They believe Wally is too far gone. Barry believes Wally is signaling them for help. Barry thinks Wally is stalling for backup. He brings up Wally's first encounter with Captain Cold to back up his claim. It's a flash fact that Wally needs the Flash family's help. Barry gives each of his friends a thinking cap to figure out where Wally is. Barry says their combined power can free Wally and save him. Max, Avery, and Jay, They hesitate, but then they agree. All four speedsters go into the mind of Wally West. The Flash family see Wally in Fuji, Japan, killing people. Wally's trying to break free. Wally asks Barry to stop it. Barry asks to stop what? Wally then reveals he's possessed by the Rider of Apocalypse, Famine. Barry tells Wally he did good stalling. They can save him now. Wally continues to kill people without knowing it. Avery decides that Wally can reconnect the Flash family to the Speed Force. Famine will find them. They will be targets, but they must try something. It's their last hope. Max tells Avery to stay focused. Wally then grabs Jay and starts sucking his life force. Famine has taken over. Jay doesn't know how Famine can kill them in the psychic plane. Famine proceeds to drain Jay Garrick's full life force. Famine says, "Just such a feast." Now, Barry, Max, and Avery feel a lot of pain and barely escape. Famine collides with Wally West again. Wally is lost once again. Famine says, "Rest assured that today's venture proved quite satisfying." He attacks the other speedsters, Barry, Avery, and Max. They're about to die, but that's when Iris arrives to Avery's house and removes the Flash family's thinking caps just in time to save them from famine. Barry wakes and sees Avery and Max alive, but in pain. Jay Garrick is dead. He died. Having his life force being sucked away by famine, he's died in the real life. It's a very tragic moment. Barry cries and walks out mad. Barry then proceeds to walk into his evidence vaults, which is now his laboratory. He'll use his scientific knowledge of the Speed Force to then countermeasure against it. Now, he'll also use the weapons of his enemies, like Captain Cold, the Thinker, all these different weapons to fight off against Wally West. He has to stop Wally for good. There can't be no more death and destruction throughout the world. And that's how we end Future States, The Flash, #1. So that was Future States, The Flash, #1. And this issue did not feel like that. It felt more like Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Death of the Flash Family. And the reason I say that is because it's dark. Like, this is a very dark issue. And honestly, if it was a Tale from the Dark Multiverse, a one-shot, this issue would be amazing. But since it's a part of Future States, and it's technically in canon, I'm not a big fan of it. Because, okay, the writing itself is not bad. Actually, before we get to the writing, let's talk about the art by Dale Eaglestrom, alright? His artwork is really well done. The artwork looks great. I'm excited to see this artwork in the main Flash title come March. It's really great artwork. It puts you in the mood. It sets the tone. It looks really good. The art is phenomenal. I have no complaints against the artwork. Now, the writing by Bram Vietti. He's good at world building. I noticed that, right? Because the issue opens up really good. I like seeing the Flash family. They show up, and they're using their enemies' weapons. I think that's a dope idea. They fight off against the calculator. It's looking pretty cool. Now, the revelation that they can't use their speed is also interesting. Now, how they got their speed taken away from them, not a big fan of that, though. But we'll get to that soon. But still, then Calculator then kills Impulse, and I was like, what? That's a weird way to start out. But they killed off Impulse. It's a very sad moment, tragic. The Flash family are not doing good. We, fast forward, a couple weeks, and I'm wondering, okay, it started out very dark, but maybe they're going a very interesting direction, which they do. I do really like the world building. Seeing how the Magistrate has taken over Central City, same as other cities like Gotham, but it shows a lot of, chaos in Central City. Things aren't going well, and Barry and the Flash family, they're not doing good. Avery, Max Mercury, Jay Garrick, they've lost hope. Barry's the only one having hope, and he's trying to save someone. That someone is Wally West. Now, toward the end of the issue, the stakes are really good. It's very high stakes. I'll say that if this was actually a Tale from the Dark Multiverse one-shot, I would have really enjoyed it. I would put the book down and be like, that's an amazing comic. One of the best ones. Because it's dark, it goes by the theme of that. But this doesn't go by the theme of Future States. Because so far, the Future State titles, like the next Batman or the Wonder Woman one, they're not lighthearted per se, but they're not as dark as this. Like, for Batman, yeah, there's the magistrate taking over, and there's, like, order, but there's people fighting back for their freedom, you know, like the Arkham Knights, and you have the next Batman, Luke Fox, who will eventually will have Tim Fox take that role, but there's certain stuff like that, yeah, there's still enemies and adversaries, but it's not dark to the point where so many characters are dying, and there's a Rider of Apocalypse. So we have Impulse die, right? Then we proceed to find out that Wally West, Wally West, he's being put through the ringer again, because Wally West has been killing people. Yeah, he's a murderer again. So you know how he, like, was gone for so long, came back in Rebirth, they promised to go through good stuff. He was being written well, but then we had Heroes in Crisis. He killed people on accident. And then, that was in canon, he killed Roy Harper, and then we shift to Death Metal. They make his character great again with speed metal, and it's really great. It's with the Flash family. It's the stuff that Wally West fans and Flash fans love. Then we go to the end of Death Metal. He's happy. He's playing the drums. He got his family back. But now we go with this, which this comic came out the same day as the Death Metal finale. So check out Death Metal. You enjoy Wally West's appearance, even though he doesn't have a big role in it, but he has like a nice moment. But here, he has a huge role, but he's a murderer again. It's pretty much what Wally West fans and Flash fans don't want. So, it's a weird choice by DC to do this. But we have Wally West, he's a Rider of Apocalypse, and he killed Wallace West, his cousin, at Teen Titans Academy. Now, something I'm confused by is, okay, so it's one thing going at Dark Future, 2027. That's the time period that this comic is set in. But it says 5 years earlier at the Teen Titans Academy, Wallace is killed by Wally West. Now, there's a Teen Titans Academy comic coming out in March this year, and if this is probably supposed to happen, that means that Wally's going to turn evil again very soon. He's going to be possessed by the Rider of Apocalypse and kill Wallace West in that Teen Titans comic. So the Teen Titans, that comic will be dark again. Then we got Wally West being put through the ringer again. So you literally just redeemed him in Death Metal and Speed Metal, but now you're making him go down this path again. I don't like it. I don't like Wally West being a villain again. Yeah, before it was maybe an interesting idea, but now it's so repetitive, and it's not good to the fans, and it's just so out of left field. Like, to have the Rider of Apocalypse famine come in this, one, I've never seen that before in Flash lore. Maybe it showed up in a comic from like the 60s. I don't know. You guys tell me, like, really like big Flash fans, maybe you know more than me, that maybe there was a Rider of Apocalypse famine, like famine actually showed up in previous Flash comics. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Famine did not. This is his first appearance in DC Comics general. But here, to have him show up and he possesses Wally, it's just so out of left field and random. I'm like, okay. Like, you set up a good, like, Brandon Viette set up good world building, set up a really good world to get invested in. I was actually really intrigued, but then you have this Rider Apocalypse take over Wally. I thought something more interesting was going to be about, like, okay, they're doing Wally wrong again, like, you don't gotta do him like that. If they would have done an interesting direction and made it really cool, I would still not like Wally being the villain, but I would at least stand it. Like, it'd be readable and really good. But have the Rider of Apocalypse famine show up, I'm not a big fan of that. Because now that opens up a bunch of doors that I honestly don't want to explore. Like, now you have got, like, the other three Riders of Apocalypse that ride, like, the White Horse, the Red Horse. I can't remember all of them at this certain moment, but there's the different Riders of Apocalypse, and I don't see that meshing with Flash lore. Like, that's an interesting concept that could be in other DC comics, like other characters, but I don't feel like it meshes with the Flash. And what will happen is they're in this comic, right? The Rider of Apocalypse famine, he'll be in this comic, but then he'll be gone right afterwards. And the only reason he's there is to be a plot device that turned Wally evil once again. Just to kill speedsters. And the end of it, where you see Jay Garrick die, I'm like, what the heck? Like, okay, I'm kind of a fan of Impulse. Wallace West, I'm still getting used to. But then you kill one of my favorite Flashes, Jay Garrick, and I'm like, nah, really? Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do us Flash fans like that? I didn't think that was cool, but still, it did establish stakes. I'm very mixed on this comic. At times, like, oh, high stakes, but you just killed off one of my favorite characters. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, but I like the high stakes. Or, oh, the world building is good, but I don't like the story's direction. It's like, it's a hard issue to review. And I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on it down below. Now, I am intrigued for the next issue. I'm actually excited because how the issue ends, I thought it was going to end on like a very bleak notes, like Barry's crying, Jake Eric died. I'm like, please don't end like that, because that'd be a terrible ending. But then it ends with Barry. He still has hope. I'm happy that Barry has hope. They're treating Barry's character rights. Not Wally's, but Barry's rights. And he's using the weapons of his enemies to go take down Wally West. That idea of using like Captain Cold's Cold Gun and like the Rainbow Raiders Prism, that's a very cool idea. And it really elevated this issue. And I'm excited for the next issue. I hope it goes in a better direction, that it's not as dark. Like, you can have a dark comic, but don't go so dark that it's like, it's kind of not really fun to read. It's like, this is the Flash, guys. It's not supposed to be as dark as like, maybe a supernatural book where people are just dying left and right, or your favorite characters are just dying, and one of your characters is killing them. It's like, that's not cool to the fans, and I hope it gets better in issue number 2, because there's only 2 issues of the series, and it could get amazing. This story could pop off. The Rider Apocalypse idea could get really good, but right now, I'm very skeptical, and I'm very mixed on this issue, and that's why I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, it misses the mark barely. Like, it has good moments to it, and good stuff to it, but the story's direction prevents it from being amazing, great, or even decent. But I do prefer, you guys, if you read this issue once and you hate it, read it again, because the first read-through, for me, I wasn't a big fan of it. I liked the art, but I hated this story. I didn't really like it. I didn't like what they were doing to the Flash family, but then I read it again, and I found good things, like Barry riding a motorcycle in a dope way, or the world building, or the artwork, and certain aspects that elevate the comic for me. This is a comic that you need to read multiple times to get it, and get a good feel for it, because it's easy to hate it after the first read. But at least me, I read a couple times, and I think it's okay. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on it. I kind of went on about this a little longer than usual. It's an interesting comic book, and I'd like to know your thoughts down below. Now, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Future States Flash video. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.